Now I do.
We're here with Tom Price, another one in our series of, well, we don't have a fireside, but we can pretend, Tom.
Well, it was suggested to me this morning that we should call it Coffee Time with John and Tom.
Yes. If I don't drink coffee.
So, yeah, it's too late for my coffee.
Yeah, we have a little vodka here. This is, I believe, the fifth in our series, and we're talking about civic affairs, civic concerns, and there are a number of concerns, but I wonder, I don't know if we should be discouraged or not. It appears that those that we've elected are quite determined to continue on with what we have described as somewhat of a downtown disaster. Now, that's our interpretation.
Oh, not just ours.
No, more and more people are beginning to become concerned. But do you feel it's all in vain? Do you feel that it's all going to move ahead? And is there anything that could possibly derail some of what we consider to be unfortunate decisions with respect to the arena and the culture hub and other activities?
I personally think it's going to continue to waste money until the election next year, at which time all the council will get booted out, and new council will say, hey, whoa, look at the finances of this city. There aren't any. We don't have any money.
Yeah, but we felt that in the last election.
No, I didn't. I knew that they were going to get back in.
Yeah. So is it, I know people have approached me saying, what do you think is the reasoning behind? Is it, as some say, legacy building? Is it really a thought that it's going to revive downtown? What is really going on in the minds of those that we've entrusted with our future?
Well, that's the age-old question. How do you know what's going on in anybody's mind or whether they're using it? And in the case of our situation with our local council, they've been given lots of information to demonstrate that what they're doing is erroneous. So to suggest that there's anything going on in their minds, I think would be an erroneous assumption. They're not considering any of the evidence that's out there that this is the wrong thing to do. Mm-hmm. And there are mountains of evidence that says it is.
I know that we've discussed this in the past, and even the consultants that have been hired, which normally consultants, of course, try to satisfy those that pay their way, but even they have expressed concerns.
Yes, the two consultants that we seem to have, or at least our council seems to have placed a lot of trust in, or think they have, both of those consultants, PricewaterhouseCoopers and Brisbane Brook Bainan, both deny any potential for an event center in Sudbury. Yet we're going ahead and proceeding with it. Neither of those two consultants provided any benchmarking of other facilities, in which in 2022 we discovered that benchmarking by the economists of the world determined that there are no benefits from sports venues paid for by municipalities. No benefits.
No, and I know that just this past weekend I was at the Jazz Festival talking to various individuals, and one came up to me and said, you know, arenas don't make money. And I said, well, yes. I said, we know that. Arenas are there for the benefit of the community, and their purpose is not necessarily to make money, although sometimes if they're well managed, they can almost break even.
Well, and you have to question what benefits for the community, because the studies that came out in 2022 that was included in the Journal of Economic Surveys said that there are no benefits for the community.
But we still have arenas.
Yeah, because for some reason municipalities keep building them.
Well, they can serve purposes outside of sporting events and exhibitions and that sort of thing. In emergencies, they can serve a purpose as well.
Oh, in emergencies, they can be a refuge center, but we already have the existing arena, which can function as a refuge center. We have many, many venues around the city of Greater Sudbury that can house, 500 to 1,000 people in an emergency. Most of the small urban areas outside of the former city have arenas with community halls, which can also house as refuge centers. But there is no intention to use this new one as a refuge center.
No, it's going to be an entertainment event center, right?
Yes.
And it seems to be the push behind it seems to be coming in large measure from developers, or construction companies, those that benefit in the short term, you might say.
I don't know if there's any push from developers, plural. I see certainly one from one developer. I'm amazed that council would be swayed by one developer. None of the other developers have come forward with a plan to do this, and none of them now have been invited to even get involved.
No. I want to get into some quotes with respect to pricing, but this push for a 5,800 seat arena seems to be largely from one of those individuals who's going to benefit the most, would be sports entrepreneurs, and 5,800 seats, and for possibly going to 6,000 for special concerts. Are these concerts actually, in today's age, coming to Sudbury? Are they coming anywhere?
They don't appear to be. In fact, the electronic age has made concerts almost a thing of the past. But talking about 5,800 or 6,000 seats, we're talking only of adding 1,160 seats to the existing. 1,160 seats, costing us at a bare minimum $400 million. That's a lot of money per seat, per extra seat.
And if they will ever be filled.
There's doubt about that, because there's no market area for it.
Talking about the seats, I've been into the arena several times over the past year. The seats we have in there were replaced relatively well.
Lately.
Yeah, they are in perfect shape. You never see a cracked seat. And there's some plush seats there for those who want to spend a few extra dollars.
With tender tootsies?
Yeah. And we already had the boxes there.
Yeah.
And we have a hospitality area.
Yep.
And I could not find a crack in the foundation.
No.
So we have an arena that was built largely by citizen donations back in 1952, whenever it was.
Yeah.
So I'm older than the arena, and I often joke that I think that the city would like to tear me down too.
Oh, I've suffered that same thing.
But it was built by Sudburyans for Sudburyans, and now the city wants to make what they call a business case to tear it down. How do you come up with a business? I thought business cases were largely for development rather than for destruction.
Well, obviously...
Or is that just reasoning?
Obviously, you don't understand how they do their business cases.
Okay.
They are not business cases. In all the business cases put forward every year in the budgets, I have yet to see one that is a true business case.
So what are they?
They're just words to justify what they want to do.
Right.
Period. That's it.
So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what the business case is for demolishing the arena.
Well, they'll come up with all kinds of things. They'll leave out environmental issues. They'll leave out transit situation. They'll leave out all kinds of stuff so that they can get a positive business case.
Now, the use for the old arena, it doesn't seem that there's too many coming forth suggesting alternate uses, except perhaps to create parking.
Well, what else can it be? Well, I mean, they've convinced a portion of the city that the building has reached the end of its useful life. which is an erroneous thing to start with. It may have reached the end of its design life, but design life is not the end of useful life. If you look at the design life of many, many structures in the world of 20 to 30 years, that those structures are 2,000 to 3,000 years old and still useful, you cannot compare design to useful.
No. With buildings and anything really that's used by humans, there's I guess what's termed the functional and the aesthetic aspect as well too. And when I look at our current arena, it's not a bad looking building.
But it doesn't have the opulence.
Oh, maybe we should coat it with gold.
Well,
and we have a Trump building, right?
Isn't that what they had in the foyer of the KED? The Sudbury walls and a gold motif on the floor?
Yeah.
Well, gold colored anyway.
Yeah, right. But at least we can use a bit of nickel, maybe.
Well, nickel's in short supply these days, mainly because of short demand.
Yeah.
And $6 a pound, they might be the cheapest way to build that place.
Yeah. We have, of course, development taking place in the city, and it's rather ironic that the KED, the Kingsway Entertainment District, has now become the Kingsway Employment District. And there was talk of a recycling center and a road that was going to be built in by the developer. Since then, we have been informed that Gateway will be purchasing a portion of that property. Will they be putting a casino there? Who knows? But arrangements have been made with the city, it's a cost-sharing arrangement to build the road into the property, with the city paying out of reserve funds and possibly losing the resulting interest growth of those funds in order to build the road for the developer. I'm not sure if I can use the word corruption, but it seems like some of our money is being used inappropriately. And who benefits?
Just some of it? My goodness, when I look at how our money is being used, it isn't some of it that's being used inappropriately. I had discussions this morning on CKLU about the cost of culverts that they're installing in the city right now, across the city. And those culverts, the cost of them is about $8.5 million. But they are going to cost taxpayers $15 million because they're spending money now and paying interest for the next 25 years on that money. Many of those culverts won't even last that long. Mm-hmm. The galvanized ones won't last that long. I'll give them credit. Some of the ones they're putting in are concrete. They will. But that's just a travesty. The upgrading of playgrounds, revitalization of playgrounds, $2.2 million in capital. Well, actually, it's 4.4. And how they're financing the other 2.2, I'm not quite sure, because it was supposed to be financed from a donation from the United Way, who never coughed up the other 2.2. But even if they did, the cost of that 2.2 is 3.6 or 3.7 with interest added, because we're going to pay for those playground structures for the next 25 years as well.
So what we're really talking about is time value of money.
Oh, absolutely.
And this doesn't seem to be a consideration. I know we also have the recent approval for the interpaving development through Silver Hills, which will again be paid for upfront by the city with recovery through development charges, but
if ever.
So in effect, we're losing that money on interest that we already have.
Yep.
Plus the fact, of course, our debt is going to go to $600 million.
Yep.
Eventually.
Oh, just in principle.
Yeah. So, and as you say, there's the principal, and then one who's ever had a mortgage or paid off anything from a bank loan there's that interest that's loaded on top, which in many cases, depending on the length of time, can be more than double.
Yep.
So you actually can pay more for borrowing your money than the money itself.
Oh, absolutely. And just a point of interest, we were at 670 million debt at the end of 2023 when you included the interest.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't get reported that way because that would sound too terrible. And so now we have Fraser Institute telling us it's going to reach 600 million in 2026. Well, that's just principal. That does not include interest. You can add another 400 million to that for interest. So you're at $1 billion. That 600 million translates to $1 billion when you include interest.
Wow. The only consolation is we're not going to be around to pay for it.
Oh, thank God.
But there's going to be a whole lot of other people who are going to be stuck with this bill, as it were. But, one of the things that bothers me is the transparency. And I noticed that Mr. Security, who's now responsible for the arena and the culture hub, has said that they have met with the public and they have received input. Mostly positive, of course, but they haven't met with someone who sent them a registered letter asking to meet with them to discuss, and somebody else, myself, sent a letter as well too asking, okay, we're part of the public, we represent a couple of different groups, maybe we could meet with you and discuss this. Rejected. You were rejected.
No.
Did you even get a reply yet?
No, you were rejected. They didn't even respond to us at OTOC.
So now this is after, of course, it was stated publicly in council meetings on record that groups would be consulted. Individuals even would be consulted.
Yes.
But it didn't appear that we are two examples that we offered to be consulted. And we think there is some worth in us being consulted, but nevertheless, it didn't happen. So what's going on here? They don't want to hear from those who might, I mean, we could have had some positive suggestions. We're not entirely negative all the time.
Well, and I'm a bit surprised because they also indicated that they were going to be consulting with other nations, First Nations.
Right, that's right.
And that is a different country. They're going to consult with other nations, the First Nations, but they won't consult with us community members? Like, what's with these people?
And, it's the concern by ordinary individuals with respect to a lot of these particular situations. They are, and I'll just give you one example. I said, maybe we should be looking at our roads first. And I said, oh, no. The money that's been borrowed has to be for projects that are going to last for 30 years. And we know that it's hard to get our roads to last for 3 months. So is that true? You borrowed this money. It has to be used for specific purposes, and it has to be used for purposes only for those endeavors that are going to last going on into the future for 30 years?
According to the Municipal Act regarding debentures, yes, that is the case. Mm-hmm. Now, you have to understand at the same time as they're telling you that, does anyone think that playground facilities, slides and swings will last for 30 years? Mm-hmm. Does anyone think the galvanized culverts in Sudbury will last 30 years? Does anyone think that the modifications at the Frobisher operation will be there 30 years from now? And I can go through the entire list of what's included in that 30-year commitment. Very little of it will even be around in 30 years. So they're telling you that, and that's true according to the Municipal Act. But what's this Municipal Act? That's for other people. That's not for Greater Sudbury. We're greater than that, John. Come on.
Well, wait a minute. A lot of our roads have been here for more than 30 years.
Oh, some of them almost 100.
So, I mean, it's any work we do on the road supposedly is going to be on those roads that are going to be in existence 30 years into the future.
Well, yes, but you have to appreciate that recent methods of repairing the roads have resulted in the life of the roads only being about 3 to 4 years. Some of them 10,
Yeah.
but very few.
But the road is still there.
The road is there, but not in its proper state, no.
Now, reconditioning roads, it seems that we are, because of our weather conditions, we're told that our freeze-thaw cycles are the reason that our roads deteriorate so quickly. Although this isn't always the case. Certain roads seem to last longer than others. So what is going on here? I know that a few years ago there was some talk about the road guarantee. We're going to increase our road guarantee from 1 year to 2 years. And one of the councillors at the meeting spoke up and said, well, other municipalities have guarantee requirements of 3 to 5 years. Why don't we have that? And there was silence. So why don't we have that?
Well, location is everything, okay? And, looking around Sudbury, obviously the only way we could have a 3 to 5 year guarantee or more would be to only build our roads outside of the former city of Sudbury. Mm-hmm. Because if you go to the southwest, southeast provincial highways, bypasses, and if you go to the 4-lane bypass from Lively to Whitefish, they don't have these problems. They can get that lifespan out of the roads. So obviously there's something wrong geographically in the former city that prevents us getting a good life out of our roads. Or maybe it's a personality issue. Mm-hmm. We've got the wrong people doing the job.
Well, the Romans, of course, were able to build roads that lasted thousands of years.
Oh, yeah.
And it seemed like they had pretty good foundations for their roads.
Yeah, and you have to realize that the Italians today aren't the Romans of yesterday.
You better be careful here. Our Italian friends, of course, But you think we've lost certain techniques over the years?
We haven't lost them. They've discarded them.
Yeah.
For what purpose, it's hard to tell, but they have discarded them. There are plenty of road specifications available that would give us good roads with good longevity, as demonstrated, as I just referred to, in provincial highways in the very same climate. There are no potholes in those roads. Mm-hmm. Potholes are not the result of freeze-thaw cycles. They're the result of the road construction and maintenance not getting rid of water. Roads that get rid of the water have no problem with duration.
So it's drainage, then, you're saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we do know that those who visit our city from elsewhere, those who are not afraid to express their opinion, which includes friends and relatives, aghast when they come to Sudbury to see what's happened to the city. Not only the roads, but the deteriorating condition in many other areas. And they're really puzzled about what's going on in the downtown. Why did you clear off that area downtown? Is marvelous things going to happen there? It depends who you talk to.
Well, I do understand that the landfill site is reaching capacity, and we're going to need more land for a new landfill site in a very short period of time. So perhaps that isn't the long-term plan. I don't know.
What is the long-term plan? We're going to be back with episode number 6, and we'll be talking about the downtown in particular, and some of the reasons that the city has decided to go ahead with the Culture Hub and the new arena. Some of their reasons, and I'm going to present those reasons to Tom, and he's going to possibly analyze them to a certain extent. And so stay tuned, and thanks for viewing.
Thank you very much.